Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Bravo Zulu podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Moore. And then tonight, I'm going to give you 10 questions to ask yourself if you're a CPO Select. And if you're not a CPO Select, these are 10 questions to start building on now before you get selected, whether it's officer route or chief route. These are things that will help you develop in the next years to come to be better prepared for whatever the future may hold for you. Let's go and spin that intro, and we'll get right back to you. All right, let's try to speed run this without losing too much detail because time is of the essence. We're halfway through this CPO season. I'm sure a lot of selects are out there struggling. Maybe a few are just hitting their stride and starting to get it going. But this is the time of the season every year where, um, chiefs and selects might both be banging our heads against the bulkhead, asking ourselves, what the fuck is going on? What are we not doing to get it through to the select? And then why isn't the select grabbing it and realizing some of these things? So we got 10 questions today. I formed them in a way of questions so you can think about how you would respond to this, how you could be better, asking yourself these questions and providing the answers, and self-reflection, especially if you're a CPO select going through the season right now. These are things I ask selects, that call me, that I interact with in our own season, outside of the season. And again, I think this is very helpful. And this is the kind of leadership and development that we should be giving junior sailors to have them more ready to put on khakis. And I say put on khakis. I'd like to emphasize that because I don't really care if you're a chief or you're an officer. I just care that you do the best that you can do for your family or yourself, whatever it is. So question number one, this is the mid-season question. At the beginning of the season, you probably thought you were ready. Do you still think you're ready? Right? We're halfway through this. There's been some lessons learned. Some epiphanies have happened. The light bulb has clicked on, or maybe it's just fluttered a little bit. Are you sitting there with the same confidence that you had just a short 3.5 weeks ago? Right? Have you redefined what ready means? If you have not, then you must just be on top of everything. And I don't think most selects are. I think most selects right now are struggling through some hardships, trying to find balance, trying to find that confidence again. If you are a select that is still has that confidence, please drop it down in the comments. Let me know how you're doing, what's kept you on track for it all. All right. What are the habits that you had before as a first class that you have continued to use to find success as a chief select? Right? Some things are good. Some things we're realizing, damn, maybe that wasn't a good habit. Maybe I need to ditch that like immediately and change that so I could start performing at the level that is being expected, demanded, and required of me. All right, so that's number one, mid-season question. At the beginning, you thought you were ready. Sitting there now today, do you still think you're ready? And again, for the junior sailor, a lot of junior sailors talk a lot of shit about, oh, they could do it, they could do it. It's always good to talk that shit until you're in the hot seat and you're being faced those questions and you don't know the answers. You don't know how to respond. Cat's got your tongue. You're shit in the bed. And all of a sudden, you're not hot shit anymore. All right, question number two, the self-awareness. If you were sitting there as a chief select today and you realize, well, yeah, 3-4 weeks ago, I thought I was ready. I was sitting in this position or that position, or everyone loves an acting chief of their division, right? First class, that's the acting chief. And then all of a sudden they're sitting here and they're like, fuck, I wasn't ready at all. I'm still not ready. And you're having that realization of like how much it actually takes, and that there's a huge gap in between where you were 3 weeks ago and what is expected of you in another 3 weeks in that 6 week journey. What are you doing to overcome that gap? Why were those things not taught to you, or why didn't you learn them, throughout your whole career? Right? And that's something I ask sailors regularly of like, why weren't you taught this? Why is this missing from your tool bag when it's something very basic that I teach? I think it's very basic, at least, right? It could be things simply as like, hey, what does reply all do on an email? Right? You know how many sailors like They don't think about those things because they haven't been taught it. They haven't been taught the impact of replying all and, maybe talking sideways or something. All right. The warning sign is repeating the same mistakes while you believe you're doing fine. All right. When you don't realize that gap's there and you just keep doing the same thing because you're like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm hot shit. I've always been hot shit. I've been in the Navy 15 years. I've been chief eligible 6. I made board 3 times. I'm hot shit. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Maybe not enough. Maybe we're lacking some of that self-awareness, right? And you recognizing that gap in between you as a first class and the expectation that the captain is going to have of you, and your sailors, more importantly, are going to have of you as their chief, right? What I have written down here, growth starts when you can admit without defensiveness, what I am doing is not working. A couple years ago, the CEO of our command, she recommended a book when she talked to the selects. It's called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And I thought that's a very interesting title. I read it. It was an okay read, or I listened to it, audiobook. It was an okay listen. But I think that title holds very true, right? It's like, just because it's always worked doesn't mean it's going to continue to work to the same impactfulness or have the same impact at the next level, right? You can see this in professional sports if you're a sports person, right? Not everything always translates up the ladder in that world, in that leadership or whatever. You were good enough to be a good first class. And, maybe in a future episode, we'll get into like why that doesn't translate to, or why it shouldn't translate into the board seeing the potential. It's like, I don't want to see potential. I want to see like hard facts of the hard facts that they are ready, not just the potential, right? Because potential just shows they could be, maybe, who knows? All right. So what you're doing is not working, right? If you're that select, if you're out there struggling with this through the season right now, and that hits home with you, take a step back, call your sponsor, call other chiefs, call mentor, and be like, hey, this is what I've been doing. I have been struggling. What do I need to change? And hopefully they don't just give you some answer of like, oh, well, change this or change that. Like, as I'm doing here, it's always thought-provoking questions. I cannot just tell you what to do. I need you to think for yourself on what should you do, how you're going to do it, so you could go forward. Number 3, stop grading your intentions and start looking at your receipts, right? People love to pull out receipts nowadays, especially through the season. Love to pull out a receipt. Like, well, you said, cool, you said that. Here's the receipt. Didn't happen, right? Good buddy of mine at a previous command that we put through the season, shout out him. He would always go with well, my intentions are, even as a chief, right? My intentions are as a select in a first class, and then continued it as a chief. And I told him one day, I said, hey, bro, I don't give a fuck what your intentions are. That's how the captain speaks. That's how officers speak, is they have intentions of doing things. And you know why they tell the chiefs? Because they expect the chiefs to go do it. So I don't need you giving intentions. I need you giving results. And that's what we need from the selects right now. That's what we need of every sailor. And that's what sailors need of their chiefs, right? See how it comes full circle. So we shouldn't be out there talking about, oh, well, my intentions are this. I intended to wipe my ass, but I didn't. So I got a stanky ass now. Wipe your ass. Like, it's a clear and cut thing to do. You have to do it. Okay. I meant to, we were going to, our intention was. Those are not actions. Those are not results. You didn't get anything done. Those are excuses that, or words that come before excuses. You just think that since you heard the captain say it all the time, right, that it's this accepted answer. No, it's not. Again, the officers, they have intentions. They tell the chiefs, we go get it done. Leadership is judged by what gets done, what is ready, and what your people can depend on. Your sailors, what can they depend on? Can they depend on you always giving out intentions but never delivering on the results of it? Okay. Can they depend on you saying you're going to write them an award for something, which you shouldn't do anyways, different subject, but then it's still not done. So you said you were going to do it, then you didn't do it. You doubled down twice on fucking sucking ass. All right. Let's not do that. What is actually ready? What is actually done? Let me see the receipts of it. That's all you're getting judged by. That's what your sailors are judging you by. If you say, hey, you walk into a division, you're like, hey, we're going to win and we're going to do great. And your sailors start winning and start doing great and start being awarded and recognized. All of a sudden, they're going to be like, fuck, like this chief actually, when he says this stuff, when she says these things are going to happen, they happen. This is cool. Maybe not every time, but enough times to see the pattern of results to start trusting and believing that this is what a chief is. This is who we are as a division, as a department, right? That stuff starts trickling down. All right, number 4, ready means ready to execute, not merely present. All right. There's this old saying from before time was even discovered. On time is late and early is on time. Except just being early sitting there doesn't mean you're on time. If you say training is at 1600 in the mess and you're just sitting in there at 1600, or you're walking in at 1600 and you're just getting the computer set up, or you're still fiddle fucking with the computer because you've never set it up in that location of wherever you're at, and you don't have the plug, so you're looking for a plug and you don't have the correct HDMI or VGA, RGA. We've all been there, right? You've been there. We've all been there. You're not ready. We as chiefs, again, I'm going to keep repeating this, and it's going to sound like a broken record, but like, we have to show the example of when we say we're going to execute something at this time, we're executing it at that time. So that means if I need to have people there a little bit earlier, if especially I need to be there earlier to have everything set up, standing by for the brief that I'm presenting, the meeting that I'm holding, that I'm in charge of, whatever it is, then that needs to happen earlier. That needs to be done 15 minutes before that meeting time, because you don't want to be doing it when people are showing up, because you look unprepared, you look unprofessional, you look like you don't know what you're doing. As soon as people start coming into that room, the pressure starts building. You start seeing everyone looking at you. You're trying to log in. It's not working. The Wi-Fi's slow. Oh no, your fucking computer decides to update. Murphy's Law. Everything's going to go wrong. It's about to go fucking wrong right there, and you're not ready, and the captain's walking in, and it's 15 minutes after the start time, and you're still not ready. At least the ships I've been on, when it gets real bad like that, that's when the captain just gets up, walks out, and tells the XO, call me when everything's fucking ready. And just walks away. Because they're not there to waste their fucking time. Because you weren't ready. You weren't ready to brief them. Some people don't like that, but well, that makes the asshole captain. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's the way this world works. Get used to it. Ready means ready to execute, not just there. All right. What I got on my notes. Oh, okay. If someone said begin right now, could you execute immediately? That's what ready means, right? During PT, when we come to the ready, say it in the comments. Always ready. Execute. There it is, right there. A whole spoonful of an answer. Why are we not treating everything, every training, every brief, everything else like that? When we say come to the ready, we should be ready to execute, get better. If you're out there struggling with it, there's a free one. I'm here to help. All right. And then like these things that you're doing, other sailors will see it. Your preparation habits will impact those sailors. And if you're doing it correctly, if you're doing it and you are preparing, it will impact sailors positively. If you're not preparing, it will impact them negatively. All right. That's one of those reasons why, as a chief, as an LPO, you should probably be, most of the time, not every day. So everyone needs a little early day, get home early, right? Take care of family stuff, take care of some errands, all that. I'm always all for that. But the majority of the time, you need to be staying there a little bit later to make sure you're preparing for the next morning. If you don't want to stay there later, you better be showing up earlier to prepare for the morning, right? I was always up before my sailors, preparing. I was always the first one in the office, getting the PODs printed out, reading them, highlighting everything I needed to fucking read, talk about the day, looking at emails, message traffic. Are there new nav admins out? What's the new nav admin? Let me read through it. Let me highlight. And now all that's ready before 6:30. Now I could go have a little breakfast if I want. Go up to khaki call, do the DH meeting, whatever, down at quarters. I have everything already set out, ready to rock. Let's get quarters done. If you're not taking that same approach to everything you're doing through the season of preparation, you're always going to be behind. You're always going to feel the pressure of, I have nothing done. I have nothing. Yeah, because you're not fucking doing anything. You're not preparing for the next day. You're not preparing for the next event. You have zero preparation. You're only ever reacting to the moment of, oh, fuck, I don't want to get my head bitten off. Number 5, the small things are not small anymore. It's low-hanging fruit. You got to get rid of it. Got to pick it. Repeated misses on timing, on the preparation, the follow-through, or communication. When you're missing all those things and it's over and over, and those are all patterns. I tell my sailors, like, 1 time, okay, you made a mistake, not a big deal. 2 times, hey, man, we really got to correct this mistake. 3 times, hey, you're starting to show me a fucking pattern that you suck. What are we doing here? Why is this repeatedly happening? Now we have, like, I'm thinking that if I've done my part, right, we take this as, like, I've done my part and I've provided them the necessary training, all the necessary tools. I've removed obstacles, all that stuff, all the correct things you're supposed to do have happened. Okay. So then what's the deficiency? It's in you. You are the deficiency. It's a character flaw. It's a character trait. You're missing something that's not allowing you the ability to execute these small things, whether it's, polishing, shining, blackening your boots, being in the correct uniform, being on time, right? All those. The issue is not one imperfect rep. It's failing to improve the process after the miss. Again, you've missed once. Okay, let's get a little bit better. Okay, we didn't get better. We regressed. Okay, well, hey, you're regressing, right? Like, don't regress. Like, let's get better. Here's some tools. Here's some more help. And you're continue to regress. And you're showing no forward movement, no forward progress. Like, that's a problem, people. We have to find somewhere in there how to move the ball forward for all you football fans. Okay? You cannot just, and this is what I see a lot of times, like there's right now starts to be sometimes with some, you can start feeling defeated, right? You can start falling into the mental trap of nothing's ever going to be right. I'm always going to fail. It's always going to fail. It's always going to suck. Nothing's going to be right. So, excuse me, I'm just going to start taking it. That's wrong. One, it's a piss poor mindset. You have a mindset like that as a chief, your sailors are going to have that mindset. You're going to have a fucking weak and shitty division with low morale that is going to have problems. Okay? You have to have a mindset of no, we're going to bounce back from this. That was yesterday, today's today. We're going to bounce back. We're going to be a little bit better. Right? And this is where you get into, like, win every day and little wins, and I don't really like that talk, but it's like, it's not wrong either. I don't like that talk, but it's not wrong. I'm just more of like, I don't give a fuck what happened yesterday. We're waking up today and we're going to be right today. We're going to do gooder. We're going to be better. We're going to work and get things done. And what doesn't get done, we add it to the list tomorrow, but we're going to get these things done. Right? Let me see what I wrote here. Under pressure, you do not magically become prepared. Right? We've all heard this saying, right? There's the saying of luck. Luck is just preparation meets opportunity. And that when you're under pressure and all the chaos is happening, that you don't rise. Like, people aren't just all, like, this magic thing happens where they're just rising to the occasion. They rise to the highest level of preparation. That's what it is. They're prepared. How prepared have you been this season? It goes back to the first episode in like this small season mini series, if we want to call it that. How prepared were you? Those are questions I asked in the previous episodes of what's that ace up your sleeve? You didn't have one. Why didn't you have one ace up your sleeve? You should have been preparing for this. Well, I didn't think I was going to get selected, but you were eligible, so you didn't want to prepare for what could be. All those things tie together, and a lot of those things are small things that you should not have to be worrying about. They should just be automatic. Small things just happen. That way, when the big shit's happening, you can rise to the level of preparation in that chaos. All right, number 6 here, we have humility. Everyone's favorite lesson from me, the most unhumble guy on the CPO, on the military fucking internet, right? Just kidding. I'm very humble, in my opinion. We've talked about how it's not being you thinking of yourself as being less than, right? What I have written down. Humility is willing to discover that you're not as good as you thought you were. Okay? You're not. None of us are. None of us, when we were the first class, we were all hot shit first classes, weren't we? We were all the fucking best first class ever. And then we realized, maybe we weren't. Maybe we're just another average fucking first class, another cog in the wheel. Really? Right? And if they weren't going to pick me, they're going to fucking pick somebody else. That's how that works. It just happened to be, I just was lucky enough and fortunate enough to get picked in that top 150 or whatever it was. You weren't as good as you thought you were. You're not as good as you think you are right now today. And you won't be as good, you won't be as good tomorrow as you were yesterday. Or maybe you're not as good yesterday, you weren't as good as you're going to be today. Maybe that's better. Maybe that puts a little bit more positive spin on it, right? And all that, you cannot improve something if you're always trying to defend it. If you're always trying to defend your actions of them being right and how you're correct and how you're the best, then you're not showing that humility. Excuse me. You're not representing that. You're not grasping that lesson of it. If it's always in a defensive mode of you defending your actions, going back to my intentions were this, but I fucking sucked and I didn't. We're missing so many things with a statement like that. So how are we going to correct that? How can we change that up to meet with the less intention, more receipts, more results, and actually taking the humility lesson on board and finding that self-awareness? So here's a question on top of that, right? To go with this bullet point. What feedback have you heard repeatedly through the season that you've not acted on? For the junior sailors or anyone else watching that is not a Chief Select, same question applies. What have you heard in your career throughout whether short or long, it doesn't matter. What is something you've heard repeatedly that you've not acted on? That's probably holding you back somewhere in there. Okay, number 7. Hard work is not a defense. I'm working hard does not automatically mean the work is effective or meeting the standard. Cool. Oh, do I got a crowd goes wild? Let me see. Oh, man, I'm getting sidetracked. Excuse me. Yeah, you worked hard. Way to go. Everyone's fucking working hard, right? Everyone works hard in their office and in their own community and department. Sure, maybe they're not the guy on the flight deck or the engineer. Maybe they're just the fucking cook that has to cook like 12 hours a fucking day, right? Cooking all fucking day long, smelling like the kitchen all day long. Everyone's working hard in their own area. That's not an excuse for why you suck or why it's just not as good as it should be or why it's not completed. Well, I worked really hard on this. Okay, but it's not done. Doesn't matter if you worked hard. It's not done. So what does it matter if you worked hard? Doesn't make sense. What I write here? What changed because of your effort? What is better today than last week? Right? So if last week you weren't working hard, but this week you are working hard, so shouldn't I have more results? Shouldn't there be more of those receipts? Should have more results of your hard work, right? But again, if we go back and look at it and we don't see that, you go back, again, self-aware, you as the select, you as the LPO, whoever you are watching, the military member, if your excuse is you're working really hard to be better, then show whoever you need to report to, even if it's just a mentor, even if it's just a friend, show them how that hard work is paying off. Otherwise, go back to the drawing board, do something else and work hard because it's not working. All that hard work. It's like, well, I was digging a hole with a spoon and I was working really hard. Couldn't you got a fucking shovel? Yeah, I was working really hard with the shovel. Well, couldn't you got a fucking backhoe? You know what I mean? Like, there's working hard and then there's getting the job done. Pick one. Consistency only matters when you're becoming consistently reliable, not consistently mediocre. How many of you feel that way right now? That you're consistently dropping the ball, you're consistently mediocre, consistently failing, consistently behind, consistently not completing tasks. If that's your standard of acceptance, to be like, hey, well, at least I'm consistent, Lord help us. We wouldn't accept that from a junior sailor. To be like, hey, Chief, I know I'm late every day. I'm never on time, but you can count on me to not be on time. You know what I'm saying, Chief? Like, that's good, right? Like, we would lose our minds over that, people. What are we going to do? Sit back and just be like, oh, well, at least they're consistent. Fuck out of here. If we don't accept it from junior sailors, or if we accept it from the leadership senior than us, why do we present it ourselves as our own standard? All right. For the selects out there, I'm sure you've heard a lot of spoon feeding jokes. And that's a spoon, here's a spoon, there's a ladle. Right? When every answer is provided for you, the task may move forward, but the leader does not. How many free answers do you want? You guys jump down in the comments and let me know. I might be giving away a lot right here. Maybe I am. Maybe I shouldn't be recording this. No, I'm just joking. I don't think these are spoon feeding. I think this is good conversation and good mentorship and good advice for anyone out there. Right. And there's a difference between that and spoon feeding. Spoon feeding and baby birding, when baby feed bird feeding, right? When you got to chew it up yourself and spit it in the bird's mouth. That's just doing it for you. I don't want to do that here. I'm just trying to get those wheels rolling in there, trying to get you thinking, right? So all those spoon feeding that you're looking for, when you're frustrated and you're like, just give me the fucking answer. Why? I'm not going to be at your next duty station to give you the answer. Who you think someone there's going to just give you the answer? You're going to be brand new there too. You're going to have to figure out that job. You're going to have to figure out the lay of the land there, right? You're going to have to do it yourself, Chief. So why are you looking at me right now like, oh, well, this guy should just give me the fucking answer? No, we don't do that. The goal is ownership. Recognize the problem, think through it, act, then evaluate the result. And you're going to keep doing this for the rest of your career, however long you have there. Sailors, whoever's watching it, military troops. You have to own it, whatever the situation is. You got to recognize the problem. You got to think through it. You got to act. Reevaluate. Did it come out good? Did it come out bad? What could I have done better? Was I just working hard, or did I actually do good and got a good result? Or was it consistently mediocre? All things to think about. Are you waiting to be told the next move? Are you anticipating what's coming around the corner next? What are you doing? Right? Through this chief season, it can be dangerous to try to figure it all out. A lot of selects, right? They have this this wanting to control it. We talked about that in the previous episode. They want to control everything, so they're working really hard at trying to figure it out. Like, okay, well, chief season is a problem, so I'm gonna figure it out, and once I figure it out, I'll have the answer, the solution, and then I'll be able to beat the season. No one beats the season. No one figures it out, because it's not about the season. It's about you. It's about your progress. It's about your development. So stop trying to beat the season and start trying to get better for yourself, for your fellow selects, for the mess. That's what we're trying to do here. But you're too stuck because that's how you've always been. All right. Let's go down here. My challenge to you all right now, right? We got a 5-day work week coming up. Most of us, some of us might be deployed. Got a 7-day work week. You're working right now. Well, part of this challenge I want to do in this episode is challenge you to, especially for the selects out there. But again, this does not just apply to them, it applies to everybody. What are 5 things this week that you can improve on? One for each day. Right? So, like, get your pen and paper out, get your wheel book, whatever it is you use. On Monday, what's the one thing that we're going to be better at for the week? On Tuesday, what's the one thing we're going to be better at for the week? On Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? And don't just be better at it that day, but like be better on it for that day through the rest of the week. So maybe start off with something easy on Monday, something you know you could do consistently over the next 5 days, something like the be on time thing, especially if you're a junior sailor and that's something you struggle with. Let's start there. Let's just start being on time 15 minutes early, right? Let's not walk in the middle of quarters. Let's be there ready, okay? On Tuesday, something a little bit more difficult. Maybe it's you leading quarters as a junior sailor. For the CPO selects, maybe it's I don't even know. Let's go back up to one of the earlier ones and just being like being ready to execute, right? Everyone's in a different area. Some people are doing training multiple times a day, underway, out there in the great big blue oceans. Sometimes we're only doing it a couple times a week. It differs command to command, just depending on what's going on for you. So find those things, make them non-negotiable. Like this will happen this week. Maybe it's something like leading PT. I will lead PT starting Wednesday. And if that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if it's just Wednesday and Friday, whatever it is, whatever your schedules are, like just find some things, five things that you will make non-negotiable to be better at and to execute better this week. And then follow that up into the next week. 5 new things, or just like look at those 5 and just be like, okay, I did that for 1 week. Now we're going to do it for the next week again. And just keep doing that and keep doing that. For the junior sailor that's not going through the CPO season, this is just going to help you build up better habits, as we previously talked about. It's going to build better preparation, and it's going to make you better overall. For the CPO selects, you're running out of time. You should have been doing this. You should have known to do this for your whole fucking career. If you knew it for your whole career and you just forgot it on August 3rd, shame on you. Remember it. Start doing it. Deliver these things before being tasked, before the, like, deliver the updates, deliver the completion stat or the update status completions, whatever it is. Give me the status. I had an old buddy of mine, James Russell. He was on some early podcast episodes of doing like comic book talk and stuff. But when he was a second class and I was a seaman apprentice, he'd always ask me, he'd be like, yo, more like, what's the status? What is the status? It didn't matter if it was about fucking going out for the night to party, if it was parts related, equipment related. His question was always, what's the status? And it's something that I like carried on into my work, with my sailors when I'd come in from doing something and they had their taskings for the day. I just like, all right, what's the status? Start breaking it down. I need to know everything. Status means everything about whatever your task was. So let's get to it. So you should be delivering that. Start providing that status. So back to the 5-day thing. It's what you should be identifying is one recurring miss each day. Improve that process and show the result. So these things should be, again, as I said, if you're a junior sailor that has a hard time being on time, that's a miss. You're not good at that. We need to correct that. Obviously, such a simple thing. Correct uniform, whatever it is. Something that you're consistently missing. and providing the excuses for, turn that around, make it a win, make it a hit. Shout out my Bucky's cup, yo. I think sweet. All right, let's close this out. This is like number 10. It's all about teamwork, but you are still an individual, and you can only do so much yourself for yourself as a contributing member to your mess or to your team, to your department, division, command, whatever it is. Do not compare yourself to the people beside you. That is half of your fucking problem. If you're first class and you're struggling, if you're select and you're struggling, it might be because you're looking to the left and right and you're comparing yourself to everyone around you, thinking on how you could be better than them instead of you just trying to be the best you. It sounds pretty like simple and easy and like duh. Well, as junior sailors and first classes, and depending on what kind of community you're in, we get wrapped up in that. Of like, I know I'm the best. Everyone told me I was the best, so I got to be the best. And well, they did that. Well, fucking, like, holy shit. Why aren't you just doing your piece of the puzzle? The great coach Bill Belichick doing your job. What is your job? Do your fucking job. Just do your job. Whatever it is, do yours. If you do yours, then everything else is going to start happening too. And then when other people need your help, you go help them with that. But like that'll be the appropriate time to help out. And you have a new job at that time to help them. Your job is helping. Sometimes your job is leading. Sometimes your job is following. When it's your turn to follow, can you shut the fuck up and do your job? Or are you in that comparison? I'm better. I need to talk before them. I need to stab them in the back. What? That's wild. Think about your current pattern, whatever you came into this season with, or again, if you're not, whatever. If your current pattern, your current habits, your current preparation, if the season just ended right now, you got your little magic pants, or if even if you're a junior sailor and you just want the magic pants, officer or chief route, doesn't matter. If all that was like boom right now today, how ready are you? Goes back to the top. Probably not as ready as you think you are. That means that there's a lot of work to be done. I hope some of this has helped you identify some of this work that you need to do. Let me know down in the comments which one of these bullet points was your favorite, which one can you relate to the most. And yeah, that's gonna I was gonna do a lot more things like episodes. Some stuff came up where I can't not at liberty to discuss those. The people are watching. But again, drop it down in the comments. Give us a like and subscribe if you're enjoying this type of content. You're only getting it for one more year on the military talk and Navy talk. And then once I retire, we're going to be full transitioning into other just, damn, man, why my intro so it's just coming out so long, so short. We'll be transitioning into other content and stuff. You guys check out the golf videos. We're doing that little mini series here around San Antonio, having a good time. And yeah, like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let us know how we're doing. And if you're a Chief Select, let us know how you're going through your season. If you're a junior sailor, junior officer, or even senior, just let me know what you think. Even if it's the hate. I love the hate. All right, that's all we got for tonight. Appreciate y'all.